The downstairs neighbor spread nasty rumors in the resident group, slandering me as a prostitute. I was about to go confront him when I received a bizarre friend request. Don't reply, he's setting a trap for you. No one lives downstairs from you. That night, I was diligently working overtime at my computer when a barrage of messages interrupted my thoughts. The notifications popped up relentlessly, flashing nonstop, urgent as if urged by a demon. Picking up my phone, I was shocked to find nearly 100 messages, all from the apartment building's resident group. Every single message, without exception, mentioned one person. Unit 702, Kim bringing men home again. It's hell living below you, can't get any sleep. Unit 702, Kim, have you no shame? Even when selling yourself, you can't be quiet. Do you guys know Unit 702, Kim in our building is that asterisk kind of person? Who's tried her? The bed's always shaking every night. You're doing good business, huh? Unit 702, Kim. Unit 702, Kim. Neighbors, please give us a break. Countless filthy words flooded the screen, shattering the midnight tranquility of the resident group. Some complained loudly, demanding the building management evict me. Others criticized the vulgar language, fearing their children would imitate it. Some called for the police to arrest me, worried the building would be labeled a brothel, plummeting property values. And then there were those who, sensing a foul smell, ambiguously offered to rescue the supposed prostitute. I stared at the messages, still appearing relentlessly, my limbs gradually growing cold in the suffocating summer night. Because the person constantly mentioned, Unit 702 Kim, was me. The one slandering me was named Finn. He had never spoken in the resident group before. I tapped on his profile picture. Apart from a few status updates cursing the heavens, the earth, and society, I found no useful information. Who was he, really? Why was he suddenly spreading such disgusting lies about me? I looked out the window. In the apartment complex, only one unit still had its lights on, like the watchful eyes of a beast lurking in the dark. I couldn't help but tremble. This apartment complex was a resettlement housing project, with a complex mix of residents and accumulated conflicts. The management only operated because its sole advantage was low rent. That's why, right after graduating, I settled here, signing a long-term lease, and have lived here for 2 full years now. If this slanderer kept harassing me, my life would be ruined. Calming down, I decided to fight back. Finn, only one person lives in my apartment and I've never made noise. Your delusions are too severe, you should go get checked at the psychiatric ward. On second thought, I deleted the latter part of the warning, only posting the first half to the resident group. That was enough to clear my name and make everyone realize the opponent's madness. The message sent, the resident group finally fell silent. I breathed a sigh of relief, about to turn away and rest. Ping. Just as I put my phone down, a new message popped up, a friend request. Don't reply, he's trying to lure you. No one has ever lived in the apartment below yours. I stared at the screen, my mind blank. No one downstairs? Then who was the person claiming to be my downstairs neighbor, Finn? Seeing my silence, the other person sent another message. Quickly retract your message in the group. I'll explain in detail later. I jolted awake from my daze, hastily switching to the resident group to retract the message. Unfortunately, it had been over 2 minutes. It couldn't be unsent. Just then, Finn messaged in the group again. Unit 702 Kim, so you're home alone? I'll be right up to play with you. Damn it, thump, thump, thump. The deafening sound of my pounding heart echoed in the empty room. Bang, the door was slammed hard. Without thinking, I grabbed a kitchen knife and slowly moved towards the door. Outside, there were faint shuffling sounds as if someone was walking around. I held my breath, gritting my teeth, mentally preparing to fight the intruder to the death. Boom, the door shook violently again. Fear morphed into fury. I instinctively screamed, "Who's there? Take another step and I'll kill you." My voice was so hoarse it startled even me. The sounds outside instantly ceased. It was a long while before I dared to press my eye to the peephole. The hallway was empty, not a soul in sight. I sighed in relief, collapsing onto the floor. The girl who sent the friend request was still messaging. I accepted her request and reassured her I was safe. Thank goodness you're okay. Girls living alone need to be careful. Thanks for earlier. How did you know no one lives downstairs from me? The other person sent a bittersweet emoji. I'm a real estate agent and very familiar with this area. Only then did I notice her username, AAA Cozy Homes Real Estate. When, that Finn guy said he was your downstairs neighbor, but I couldn't be mistaken. Apartment 602 has never been occupied. He must have made it up to scope you out. I irritably realized I had clumsily fallen into a trap, inadvertently revealing my living alone status. Wen seemed to guess my worry. He probably won't stop. You should temporarily stay with family or friends. I told her I lived alone in the city with nowhere to go. Then would you consider moving out? Even if there's a small fee, it solves the problem at its root. Move out? For something so trivial? Before I could answer, Wen immediately sent several listings with promises of discounts. It seemed she saw me as a potential client. A sudden alarm bell rang in my head. Could everything that had just happened be a script she had orchestrated? Was this danger? A play put on by Wen and Finn to force me to spend money to resolve the issue? Thinking this, Wen's excessive enthusiasm suddenly felt incredibly manipulative, making me uncomfortable. I feigned tiredness, claiming I needed rest and didn't bother replying to her messages anymore. The next morning, my alarm clock woke me. The app reminded me it was time to upload a video. Ever since my impromptu clip unexpectedly went viral, I had embarked on the path of a content creator. My video content was very simple: weekly vlogs about a single girl's life, no face revealed, no dialogue. After 2 years of diligent work, I had tens of thousands of followers. Though not many, it was enough to earn a decent income from advertising contracts. For a blogger, maintaining new uploads was crucial. New updates brought traffic, and traffic brought revenue. I quickly edited the footage interrupted last night and uploaded it to my channel immediately. Weekday mornings weren't prime time for views. The new video was syncing without a ripple. I scrolled back and forth through the empty comment section, brainstorming ways to create explosive content. The website administrator sent a private message inviting me to a blogger conference, promising massive traffic support. As usual, I declined, citing my unwillingness to appear in real life. After countless refreshes, a new comment finally appeared under my video. Can't believe I found you here. Algorithms are truly amazing. The commenter's name was When Always Happy. The IP address matched mine. Immediately, my phone vibrated with a message from Wen. She sent the link to the video I had just posted. Hello, this is you, right? I can't believe you're a famous blogger. Wow, that's incredible. Damn it, I was exposed. My heart pounded. A wave of anxiety crept into my chest. Yes, that's me. What a coincidence. I can't believe you stumbled upon my video. While replying to Wen's message, I opened her personal page. It seemed she had studied vocal music, posting a few clips of herself playing and singing, but no one had paid attention. Wen's last post was half a year ago, a song about separation. Finally found a job. Perhaps I won't have the chance to sing for everyone anymore. Farewell here. The girl on the screen had a melancholy look, quietly singing. It turned out Wen had also wanted to be a blogger, but to make a living, she became a real estate agent. Your videos are amazing. If I had known there was a master like you next door, my account wouldn't have died so young. I offered a few polite words of comfort, not wanting to delve deeper into the topic. Wen seemed to sense my nonchalance. The typing indicator flashed for a long time before she sent her next message. I have a small suggestion, completely without malice. I hope you don't mind. Isn't labeling yourself a girl living alone a bit dangerous? If bad people stumble upon it, they could easily find your home. Wen immediately sent several articles about single women being harassed after their information was exposed. I was stunned by these news stories. That's right. Why had I never thought of this before? But I've never shown my face. In a city of millions, finding one specific person isn't easy. Wen was anxious. Forget bad guys, even I can guess your floor and apartment layout from your videos. To ensure your safety, try pretending someone else is home. Pretending someone else was home? The more I heard, the more confused I became. How could I pretend? At my naivete, Wen was surprised, sending me a wealth of personal security knowledge. Thanks to her education, I learned basic tips like placing men's shoes by the door, installing cameras, and using a middle-aged man's photo as a profile picture. It was a good thing we were talking online. Otherwise, she would have rolled her eyes at my ignorance. These things don't solve the problem at its root, Wen reminded me, suggesting I move soon to avoid being harassed again by that pervert downstairs. Over and over, Wen's ultimate goal was still to persuade me to buy a new place. Seeing my silence, she switched to suggesting I add scenes of interacting with friends to my videos. You have to let the world know you're not alone, right? Otherwise, I can pretend to be your best friend. Ignoring Wen's well-intentioned offer, I immediately ordered a smart doorbell camera. Peace only lasted half a month before the pervert downstairs went crazy again. In the middle of the night, the smart doorbell camera constantly alerted me to someone loitering outside my door. He was very cautious. The camera only captured blurry dark figures. Although no real harm was done, the continuous harassment still exhausted me. Fortunately, this only lasted 3 days. On the 4th night, the door was unusually quiet. I finally got a rare good night's sleep. The next morning, Wen's message woke me up. The guy downstairs died, did you know? In the early hours of that day, a resident walking their dog discovered a body lying in the flower bed at the base of the building. Firefighters and police quickly arrived, cordoning off the scene. It was clear the man died from falling from a height, and the spot he fell from was apartment 602, directly below mine. Just as I pressed my face against the window, watching the chaotic scene, the doorbell chimed. "Hello, we're here to understand the situation. We hope for your cooperation." 2 people in uniform presented their badges and moved to enter the apartment. "Wait, can we discuss this outside?" I blocked the door, explaining, "My place is quite messy. There's no room to even step." The police officer seemed understanding. "Do you live here alone?" I almost said yes, but suddenly remembered Wen's warning, quickly changing my tone. No, my friend often visits." The officers nodded, understanding, and showed me a photo. "Do you know this person?" Looking at the image of a middle-aged man lying in a pool of blood with distorted limbs, I shook my head. "I rarely go out. I've never seen him before." "He fell from the window below your apartment in the middle of the night. Didn't you hear anything?" I continued to shake my head, saying I was a very deep sleeper. "So, you probably don't know what was in his room then." "Huh, was there something downstairs?" The 2 officers exchanged glances. "Nothing, it's fine if you don't know." Seeing they couldn't elicit any useful clues, they decided to leave. "Oh, by the way, could you provide any recordings from here? We might catch something." Before leaving, the police officer suddenly noticed the smart doorbell camera on the door and asked me for the memory card. "This has been broken for a long time. It's just there to scare people." I removed the device's cover, quickly pulling out the memory card while subtly covering my hand with my sleeve. "See, it's empty inside." Seeing this, the 2 finally left. I breathed a sigh of relief, quickly closed the door, and then burned the memory card. That evening, the police released an official statement about the case. After investigation, the victim was identified as a homeless man who had been temporarily living in the vacant apartment below mine for a long time. On the night of the incident, he drank heavily, got drunk, and then slipped and fell from the balcony. The case was closed, the danger passed. Wen quickly messaged to congratulate me. Knowing the police had questioned me, she was incredibly curious, pressing me to recount the entire process. What was in his room? This question was strange. What could be in a homeless person's room? Looking at Wen's message, I felt a cold laugh bubbling up inside me. "Exactly, how would I know? They asked the wrong person. You should have told them to find *U instead." The other end of the line was silent. After a long pause, Wen finally messaged back, "You know everything, don't you?" Before I could reply, she called. I coldly rejected the call. After 3 hang-ups, Wen finally lowered her voice. "Please pick up. Let's talk for a bit." "I won't budge. Who knows if you're recording? I can't take that risk." Wen didn't push it further, only asking again, "You saw the items downstairs, didn't you?" "Yes, so last night that person was because of you." I neither confirmed nor denied, and another long silence followed. When explained, "I didn't mean to deceive you. I never expected someone to move in there." I couldn't help but scoff. "You're really good with words," saying no one had ever lived downstairs. That's right, the downstairs apartment had indeed never been lived in, only filled with urns of ashes. After 3 consecutive nights of harassment, I finally ran out of patience and decided to solve the problem once and for all. I knew this was an extremely dangerous act. The enemy was hidden while I was exposed. The enemy was strong, I was weak. Even a small mistake could cost me my life. But the madman downstairs was like a ticking time bomb. Thinking about how he could burst in at any moment, destroying everything I had strived to preserve, my heart swelled with bitter hatred. I had to eliminate him. After days of stalking, I had learned his routine. Every evening he would go out, drink until late, then stumble home and come upstairs to harass me. I decided to sneak into his room when he was absent and adapt as needed. Last night, I successfully broke in. The door of the shoddy resettlement apartment could be opened with just 2 wire strands. Apartment 602 reeked of dust and cold, stale ashes with an odd vibe. The curtains were completely drawn, blocking out every ray of light. I raised my phone to illuminate, trying to discern shapes in the darkness. As my eyes adjusted to the darkness, a sight that would haunt me for life appeared before me. Dozens of urns of ashes, dozens of ancestral tablets were scattered chaotically throughout the living room, their shadows stretched endlessly, swirling madly under the faint, cold light. Absolute terror choked me, my feet felt glued to the floor, so much so that I didn't even hear someone opening the door. "What the hell, who are you?" the drunk man roared, charging towards me. Only then did I snap awake as if from a nightmare, hastily dodging and running towards the balcony. The living room space was limited, and I was afraid of knocking things over and making noise, so I could only try to evade him. But the opponent was like a mad bull, relentlessly charging, each blow carrying deadly force. Suddenly, a night breeze swept through, lifting a corner of the curtain. I glanced at it, feigned retreating further back, hiding behind the curtain. Just as the man lunged, I pulled my leg back, dodged, and gave a light push with my hand, sending him uncontrollably hurtling straight outside. The balcony had no windows, and the railing was just a flimsy fence, utterly unable to withstand such terrifying force. The man didn't even have time to let out a scream before he slipped and fell to his death. Finally, I regained the quiet. Turning my head to look at the scattered gold paper money, fabric flowers, and incense candles all over the floor, I suddenly understood why Wen had been so interested in the downstairs situation. I had heard rumors of people using homes to store ashes to cope with rising cemetery fees, but I never expected it to happen right next to me. Even more, I never imagined Wen would turn it into a business. When I first started in the business, a client asked me to find a house to use as an ancestral hall. I didn't want to take the job, but the sales pressure was too great. Knowing the truth had come out, Wen finally confessed. It turned out she had secretly taken on many ashes storage businesses for profit. Every real estate agent holds many authorized properties. Wen knew the owner of the downstairs apartment had long settled abroad, so she used it as a secret cemetery. She just never expected a homeless person to break in and live among the ashes, impersonating the owner and harassing me. Even more, she never expected me to dare go downstairs to investigate, let alone strike first and eliminate the opponent. After hearing Wen's story, I couldn't help but remind her, have you thought about the consequences if the residents of this building find out? They might not care about what happened to me and the homeless man, but if they discover their properties are being used as a cemetery, they'll tear you apart. Wen was frantic. Your secret, I absolutely won't reveal. That homeless guy just had bad luck and fell to his death, so please, don't tell anyone what I've done, okay? It was clear she was utterly terrified, begging me to keep her secret, making wild promises. I could almost imagine her trembling and crying on the other side of the screen. How interesting, she was ultimately more cowardly than me, someone who had just committed murder. Don't worry, I won't say anything. Unless, I deliberately waited a long time before replying to Wen, unless you no longer consider me a friend. Friends keep each other's secrets, right? Wen was truly afraid I wouldn't consider her a friend. So every day she actively messaged me, chatting as if it were a daily attendance chore. Wen's enthusiastic yet cautious demeanor provided me, someone who had long lived isolated from the crowd, with a bridge to the outside world. Through our chats, I learned many things that were trending among young people. One day, I suddenly mentioned wanting to learn a musical instrument but didn't know where to start. Wen immediately suggested I enroll in a talent class, starting with basic music theory. She enthusiastically recommended a teacher she knew. You can record your learning process, and then your vlogs will have outdoor scenes. Isn't constantly filming activities indoors a bit boring? I explained that I just wanted to learn the basics to pass the time and didn't want much contact with strangers. I get it, she said. You're the type who feels like going out is like going to the execution ground. A kalimba would suit you best. The compact thumb piano had clear sounds, a simple structure, and was easy to learn. After watching a few tutorial videos, I could already pluck out simple melodies. When I posted a clip of myself practicing the instrument on my vlog, comments flooded in, praising my natural talent. But after 5 consecutive episodes where I kept playing the same short tune, some couldn't resist mocking me. Always the same. practicing for a month and still can't finish one song. It's embarrassing to use this junk to get views. Wake up. Whenever there were malicious comments, Wen was always the first to rush to my defense, even being called a lapdog. This time, Wen disappeared from my comments. Her profile picture was grayed out. I accessed the rental company's management system to search for Wen's personal information. Her status showed on personal leave. Wen just vanished. For the first time, I felt genuinely panicked and actively messaged her. 3 days later, I received a reply. Sorry for making you worry. My ex-boyfriend found my place, so I had to go into hiding. Wen said her ex was a maniac. After they broke up, he still stalked her, even spreading rumors that she was promiscuous. I suggested she ask some strong friends to tie him up and beat him half to death. Wen sent a crying emoji. I'm just like you, I don't have anyone to rely on. How about I come stay at your place temporarily? I proactively offered. The two of us together and someone to watch over things, it'll save on hotel costs. Wen hesitated, worried about affecting my video recording schedule. You've helped me so much, let me help you a little. I reassured her. Besides, if you come, you can teach me how to play, so people won't mock me anymore. Finally, Wen agreed, promising to come to my apartment the next morning. I rushed to clean until late into the night, meticulously preparing everything. Warm golden sunlight filled the room. The doorbell rang, and Wen's voice echoing through the door sounded strangely shrill. I immediately glanced at the smart doorbell screen. It was pitch black, displaying the message, "Memory card not installed." My phone suddenly vibrated with a message from Wen. "Kim, please open the door for me. My luggage is too heavy." I stepped closer, pressed down the doorknob. The click of the anti-theft bolt unlocking had just finished when a terrifying push shoved me sprawling onto the floor. A group of people rushed in, shouts and the shuffling of shoes mixing together. "Where's the ambulance? Bring the stretcher quickly. Don't move, hands over your head. Don't rush, put that down right now." Several hands pinned me to the floor. Before darkness enveloped me, the last thing I saw was a long, sharp point plunging directly into my eyeball. Thwack! I couldn't see anything anymore. 3 months had passed, and my eyes still throbbed with a dull ache. The brutal doctor, like a butcher, poked his hand into my empty right eye socket, swirling it around, claiming it was just phantom pain. Like an amputee still feeling pain in a lost limb, it's all just an illusion. He puffed out smoke. "Don't you still have one eye? Stop blabbering here." Seeing my pale face, he seemed even more pleased. But listen, it was so urgent at the time, disinfection wasn't thorough. Sooner or later, bacteria will infect your remaining eye along the nerve. Then I'll have the trouble of scooping out that eyeball too, so you can be completely blind and at peace. I blinked my sole remaining left eye. A stream of bloody tears covered the eyeball, leaving only a hazy red film before me. Just then, for the first time, I truly saw Wen. She was supporting another girl. The other girl seemed to have difficulty walking, taking slow steps but keeping her back perfectly straight. They sat down on the other side of the bulletproof glass. I pressed my face close, finally seeing her face clearly. It's Kim. I first met Kim in an elective class at school. At that time, she was just starting to film vlogs, clumsily editing and cutting films. Kim's old computer groaned along, losing files or freezing every day, and she always had to ask me for help. Thanks to that, I got to see countless hours of raw footage she recorded. In the frames, Kim would sometimes talk to herself, sometimes make funny faces, sometimes laugh hysterically at her own mistakes, rolling around on the floor in her pajamas. How adorable, how lively, how wonderful it would be if I could witness every detail of her daily life with my own eyes. So I hid in Kim's house, wanting to give her a surprise. Who knew she would be so careless? As soon as she saw me, she turned and ran. She wasn't careful at all, ending up falling down the stairs and breaking a leg. Of course, I had to take care of her. I bought the old house Kim was renting, arranging everything meticulously. She could even continue filming videos as a blogger. But Kim always just wanted to escape. Her leg still hadn't fully healed, and I threatened that if she didn't listen, I would have to amputate it. Kim fell silent, not even daring to go near the room door. But I never expected that every night, while wearing noise-canceling headphones to edit videos, she wasn't sleeping but secretly practicing walking in the bedroom. The thudding sound the homeless man downstairs heard was the long umbrella she used as a crutch hitting the floor. She must have practiced extremely hard, so when the police raided the place, she stumbled and lunged, poking the tip of the umbrella into my eye. It was clear the police were led by Wen. Her complaints about her ex-boyfriend seeking revenge were just bait to make me open the door. For 3 days, she suddenly disappeared. While I prepared ropes and anesthetic, she plotted a rescue and capture plan. If my smart doorbell camera hadn't been broken, I would have noticed the abnormal situation in time. Ironically, the very thing that helped me conceal the homeless man's death was what pushed me into the trap when had set. The only thing I still couldn't understand was how she discovered something was amiss. Had the vlogs betrayed my existence? When filming daily vlogs, I never showed my face, avoiding even reflective surfaces like glass doors or dishes, ensuring every frame revealed no flaws. I concealed myself meticulously, editing so carefully that no one noticed Kim's leg problem. Or was it a casual conversational slip-up? Kim's computer and phone both had surveillance software installed by me. She could only reply to innocuous comments, never send a cry for help. The homeless man downstairs who heard my voice had been dealt with. No one knew a man was living in Unit 702. The person communicating with Wen from beginning to end was only me. She and Kim had never met. How could she have detected that the person chatting with her was problematic? Taking advantage of Wen and Kim's visit, I voiced the doubts in my heart. To my surprise, Wen burst out laughing. Remember that time I said I wanted to buy more sanitary pads during a sale? You asked me if I'd already had children. No matter how ignorant someone is, no one would ask such a foolish question. Right then, I suspected you were a man. I also checked the company's transactions and discovered apartment 702 had just been sold. The new owner was not only the same age as Kim, but also went to the same university as her. My eyes stung again. So she knew from the start that I wasn't Kim, and all subsequent conversations were just to probe? That's right. Wen's face was full of contempt. The more you talked, the more flaws you revealed. Even trivial things were enough to confirm my suspicions. So that's how it was. I had been meticulous about every single detail, thinking I had prepared everything thoroughly, only to stumble over the smallest of details. Kim had read all our exchanges. She must have known she was being watched, but she never showed it. She just silently practiced walking, waiting for a chance to stab my eyeball. Even now, Kim didn't even glance at me as if I were just thin air. I couldn't help but warn, don't get close to this woman. Today she deceived me, tomorrow it will be your turn. Don't you dare try to divide us. Wen stepped in front of Kim. I made mistakes, but I never intentionally harmed anyone. You, on the other hand, just calculate how many crimes you've committed. Breaking and entering, illegal detention, intentional grievous bodily harm, assault, and murder. Enough for how many firing squads? The guard walked over, reminding them that visiting time was almost over. One last question. I desperately lunged towards Kim, but was pulled back by my shackles. How did you bypass the surveillance system to send a distress signal? A normal person, even if suspicious, would only think Kim and I were lovers. She would hide this to maintain her image as a single blogger, right? How could Wen be so sure I was holding Kim captive and impersonating her, daring to risk calling the police to save someone? Unless Kim had cried for help to her. Kim finally looked directly at me, pulling out a small kalimba and placing it before her. She loved it, plucking out tinkling sounds which annoyed me somewhat. For several videos straight, Kim had used it to play the same out-of-tune song, drawing complaints in the comments. I had planned to throw it away, but Kim suddenly pleaded weakly. She cried, begged, even letting me bother her until midnight just to keep the kalimba. Kim ran her fingers over the strings, plucking and singing. Mi fa du sol fa la sol, mi fa re re fa du sol. She stopped and asked me, this is the melody I often play, sounds familiar, right? Did you think it was just a normal practice tune? I didn't recognize any clue, only able to stare at Kim with my one remaining eye. The kalimba came with an ABC sheet music. The musical notes on it corresponded to the 26 letters of the alphabet. It was like a simple cipher, transforming melody into text. I suddenly remembered. Every time she filmed a video playing the instrument, Kim always placed this sheet music in front of her. At the time, I thought she did it for the aesthetics, never realizing it held a different intention. Wen studied music and had an excellent ear. I bet she understood what I was trying to say. Me, Kim plucked a note. This is X fa, this is Y la, this is A. She plucked each note, the vibrating sounds growing louder and louder, making my head feel like it would explode. Kim subtly mouthed, put them together it becomes. Wen, save me. I stared blankly at the two figures before me, but only saw their reflection on the glass. A drop of blood slowly rolled down from my dried-up eye socket. This instrument is for you. I hear people like you have a hard time in prison. At that time, you can use this method to call for help, but no one will come to save you. Their voices echoed from a distance, and I sank completely into darkness.